So we've got, rocks. This one's a diamond, but it's actually clear. If you kind of look along the plane there, you'll see that there's a kind of obvious stripe along the middle there. And they put some glue in there that's red and purpley and yellow. But the diamond itself is clear, and they just cut it and glued it back together again with purple and yellow glue. Um, but it is, in fact, a diamond. And so it's this. This is what most people call quartz. Um, but it's actually a little black diamond. It's got six sides, but it's not hexagonal in any way, shape, or form. Hexagonal has two even axes and one long or short axis, and this does not. It does have six sides, but cubic and hexagonal are share the same symmetry of rows and columns. And it looks like rows and columns in one direction, um, and you can see them there. And it looks like if you rotate it 45 degrees, it looks like a hexagon. And I can show you with little spheres how that works, but probably not here. Anyway, what happens with a diamond is they are very hard. They are the hardest thing on the planet at 10 on the Mohs scale of hardness, which means, if this were a piece of quartz, at 7, it would not scratch a diamond. Okay, but in fact, I can take the diamond and, I don't think maybe I have one. Yeah, there's a little one. Okay, a little one with a point to scratch with, or two maybe. It's rounded that way. Okay, these are cut in India, and they're not cut like sharp. So let's see if what happens when I try to scratch my glued together stone is that even the sharp pavilion or the girdle won't scratch it, won't, it just skates like an ice skater on ice. Let's see what we got here. Silicon carbide, probably. So a lot of what people call quartz isn't. It's actually diamond, and if you check the hardness, you'll find, and you do that with a known diamond. So, you guys that have De Beers diamonds, like in your diamond rings or whatever, can use those and try to scratch one of your magic quartz crystals. And you'll find that magically you can't do it because they're both 10 on the Mohs scale of hardness, which means it's not quartz. Quartz is supposedly 7, and I have about 10 tons of rock around here And I've been looking for some quartz and I can't find any. This is supposedly cryptocrystalline quartz called, well, this would be massive quartz, and it forms in big veins in the metamorphic granite of the rocks in the mountains I live in. And this is actually some form of platinum. You can kind of see rainbows there, and my light, of course, went out, and I'm sitting here in the dark, so I can't show you how beautiful it is, but it's not quartz. And it's also tin on the most scale. I can take a diamond and can't scratch it. Doesn't scratch. Joe, would you turn that light on for me, please?
Are you recording?
Yeah, I sure am. And so, yeah, my scratching efforts didn't do anything. If I could just pick that sucker up, it'd be wonderful. It is tin on the most scale of hardness, like a diamond. And it's not a diamond, and it's not quartz. Quartz is supposedly 7. And I'll let you know if I find any. Live in these big old mountains, man. They rise up behind my house about 3,000 meters, and I've been here for almost 35 years and picking up rocks almost every day, checking them out. And I don't just like look at them and take pictures of them. I do stupid things like try to scratch them. Because that's a real good test for, for a lot of things. And that hardness test is something that you can't fake. It's not something you need a fancy machine for. So I don't have to read a machine. Excuse me. That I might understand, but most people don't. Measuring properties that I also understand, not because I had 5 hours of classes on the science behind gemstones, which is what GIA certified gemologists have. I started studying the periodic table when I was 3. I'm 68 now, so I've got about 65 years of chemistry and physics and geology, and I do it pretty much every day. My wife and I moved to New Mexico in 1986, and I'd been sober a couple of years by that time. Actually, about 4 years by that time, and I figured out that I wanted to do something other than selling cars or fixing cars. And so I started picking up rocks, looking for precious opal. And I found out real fast that I had to know what it was, but I also had to know what it wasn't. And I also figured out real fast that the people who were teaching graduate level geology at the schools around there couldn't tell the difference between quartz and opal. they didn't know how to do a simple hardness test. I checked. I went, to the university in Silver City where I was living, and one up in Socorro, and they're plugging these things into big fancy machines, and they didn't know the difference. They didn't know how to check the difference. That's how you do it. The hardness test. And it's simple and easy, and it helps you identify different minerals pretty exactly. And so, quartz fans, most of your quartz is not quartz at all. It's carbon or something else. Silicon carbide or platinum, palladium. And it's all 10 on the Mohs scale with hardness, and you can check with a known diamond. Okay, that's all you got to do is try to scratch it.